To do this for a while, but finally I got time to do it. So we're gonna review Good Kid, Mad City. I was gonna write about it, but between my new job and just some other things going on, I haven't been able to do it written. I've been trying to find time to shoot a video for it, but I just haven't been able to. So finally, um, I got time now, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it because I don't want to get too far ahead. Um, what can I say about it that hasn't been said already? It's when I heard it. First of all, just to let you know, Section 80 I thought was one of the best West Coast albums I've heard, even if it was a mixtape. It's one of the best West Coast albums I've heard in the last few years. And what I loved about Kendrick was the fact that he was just open. He could rap. He could write. He seemed like he had a purpose with what he was trying to do. And for me, I like rap that has a little bit of a purpose to it. Like I like fun stuff, but from the West Coast, there's got to be something more personal because let's face it, the biggest contribution the West has had on rap since I got out of college in 2006 is whatever you want to say about Game's career and the Dougie and Jerkin, if I guess you want to go there. But what I love about Kendrick's album to me is just that what I love about Section 80 was how honest it was. To me, it kind of captured what it's like being a young 20-year-old in LA a little bit. It's a little bit after my generation, of course, but what I love was that the dude was trying to give voice to his generation. And for a kid who's 24 years old to be able to do that so well, it's incredible. So I haven't listened to a bad song from him yet. Section 80 I thought was a great mixtape. I listened to his verse on Ab Soul's record, loved it. Finally listened to his verse on Schoolboy Q's album. I was blown away. I couldn't believe he was flowing like that. So when I got Good Kid, Mad City, I haven't heard a bad song by Kendrick yet. So when I got it, wow. Wow. I've listened to it 3 times now, and I have to say that probably my favorite song so far, Backseat Freestyle, he's just ripping it, just shreds. Just killing it. Art of Peer Pressure was amazing because too often you don't really hear about, drive-bys done with that perspective. You usually hear stuff like, we out here doing this, whatever, but Kendrick's talking about it with a little bit of remorse, feeling like, maybe we shouldn't be doing this, but it's like I'm doing it anyway because I'm with the homies. So I thought those 2 songs were just incredibly written. Surprisingly, you may be surprised because I'm not a big fan of this guy, I like Poetic Justice too. It's kind of a nice little change of pace from the album because it's, showing a little bit more of a sensitive side. And yes, Drake's on there. And yeah, actually Drake did his thing on it. I can't lie. Drake did his thing. But the whole album is just so fluid, so consistent. And that's kind of what I've been looking for lately is just albums that are really, really consistent. Like there's no trying to just jump on the hottest producers and get them on your tracks and have it sound like a MP3 or a mixtape where it's just everything, but there's no cohesion to it. This album is very cohesive. The skits are well done. I don't want to compare it to De La Soul's albums with their skits, but it's kind of almost like that. Almost like the Kanye Late Registration skits. They all fit within the purpose of the album. And you feel like Kendrick Lamar isn't just making music, he's creating art. And the story behind this album, you can look at several things. You can look at it as like Kendrick trying to tell the story of what he used to be before he became a rapper, or just telling the perspective of somebody who was out in the streets and what they went through and trying to survive the streets. You can look at it a few ways. And what I love about it the most is that Kendrick really tries to capture all the perspectives. He's honest about, he doesn't do weed. He talked about it on M.A.A.D City when he took his first blunt, and it was laced with something, and he had a foaming, was foaming at the mouth and everything. But he admits that he's, battling his drinking, on swimming pools, which is surprisingly going to be a top 40 hit right now, and it doesn't sound like one because it's very dark, but it's definitely one of more Kendrick's more up tempo songs, I guess. But he's open about his drinking, and he's trying to get that under control. So, what I love also is that he's got on M.A.A.D City, he's got a shout out to a guy that most of y'all probably haven't heard in forever, MC8, who is one of the OGs of Compton. I was surprised he got him on the track. That's a surprise I didn't expect, but it worked so well because, running around in the M.A.A.D City, you have one of the OGs come around and try to, put you in your place a little bit. And it's even better because, MC8 was the OG in Menace to Society. So it fit even more perfect with it. And then also, finally, I think Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst is one of Kendrick's best written songs. It's 12 minutes long, but it feels like it can just keep going because he's honestly talking about, talks about, the guy who got killed from his, from his perspective, the sister of Keisha from Keisha's song, from Section 80 talking. And then, Kendrick's last verse I thought was really good. And then it transitions into Dying of Thirst, which I never realized what that meant, but that makes so much sense. Like dying of thirst, trying to, feel that thirst for violence, but just sick of it as well. I mean, the way Kendrick wrote this album was amazing. And if you want my honest opinion, I'm not going to call it a classic yet. I think it needs time. And you can't really call something a classic right away. I think you need to let it breathe a little bit. Like, I could say right now that Big Boy's album from 2 years ago is a classic because I still play that album, still get excited to hear it. I love it. It's amazing. I can say that 2 years down, 2 years later. Kendrick's album, I can't say that just yet, but I will say this. I've heard a lot of comparisons to M.A.A.D. I guess it could work. I can hear people say that. I compare it more to the last debut album I've heard that wasn't really compromised, Food and Liquor. I compare it most to Food and Liquor because I think when Lupe's album came out, he had a lot of mixtape buzz like Kendrick did. His debut album was bootlegged, and they had to pretty much repackage that sucker. And then when it came out, it was like, whoa. Like, it wasn't tampered. It didn't really have, like, a super-duper pop hit. But it was pretty much Lupe doing what he wanted to do. I mean, granted, some of the pre-release tracks were off, like the Music to a Drive-By, Real Recognize Real, and all that stuff. But it was a very well-put-together debut album. And that's what I compare this to. Like, I haven't heard a debut album this creative without trying to reach for the pop charts since Food and Liquor. Or maybe Below the Heavens, but that was more of an indie album by Blu. For a major label debut album to kind of sound like this, to sound like this is what Kendrick wanted to do, I haven't heard that since Food and Liquor. And you can go back to Wale, J. Cole, Drake. All those albums were somewhat compromised a little bit. Big Crit's album wasn't compromised as much. I think Big Crit was trying to show a little bit more what he could do with some more, trunk rap, with some more like boom in his sound instead of like more of the introspective stuff. But this is the best debut album I've heard since Food and Liquor. It's the best West Coast album I've heard since Below the Heavens. It's that good. It's that amazing. It's going to have that much replay value. Again, on the third listen to it, I was driving through Linwood, and some of the songs resonated a little bit with me more just being around that area. So it's going to grow on me even more. I love this album. Kendrick, you've made something that the West can be very proud of. It's a long time. And better yet, an album that didn't have major radio play came in at number 2 with 240,000 sold. That's a great accomplishment. I mean, you can look back and see what Wale, Cole, and maybe Big Crit sold. I don't know if they sold that many in their first week of their debut albums. Kendrick sold 240,000, and I bet this week he's probably going to sell that to 70,000. So that means 2 weeks, no radio play, just a huge, huge, strong support system. 300,000 copies sold. Proud to have my copy here. Great album. It's going to be one of my albums of the year with Nas's Life is Good, Killer Mike's rap music. Go buy it if you haven't heard it. Listen to it. Support the mixtape. Go get Section 80. It's that good. It's amazing. So, let me be a little bit something for the outro real quick. But yeah, I can't believe Kendrick made this album, and I can't believe that it has this much replay value. I really can't. So, it's probably going to be my favorite West Coast album maybe until, shoot, who knows. But it's that good. So, with that said, let's see if I can find something to play real quick. I'm just so happy. Like, literally, this album is just so good. Backseat Freestyle. Peace.